statues of the romantic Don Quixote and his down-to-earth squire, Sancho Panza, silhouetted against a blue Madrid sky, welcome us to Spain. This is Vincent Price, about to conduct you on a journey through a land which financed the discovery of America and produced 2 Roman emperors, conquistadors, matadors, great artists, and some of the proudest, most fiercely individual people of Europe. All Spaniards, an ancient saying goes, have in them a little of Quixote, something of the poet, and a good deal of the bullfighter. But there is a practical Sancho Panza side to the Spanish character, as illustrated by the building at our right here. The Edificio España is one of the largest modern skyscrapers in Europe. It symbolizes the new Madrid, rising from the rubble left by the Spanish Civil War of the 1930s. However, moving to our second picture, we see that the capital of Spain still retains much of its old world charm. This is Retiro Park, near the center of Madrid. For centuries it was a royal estate, and elegant courtiers and their magnificently costumed ladies once flirted along the shores of this little lake. Since 1869, however, Retiro has been a public park. Ordinary citizens of Madrid now stroll along the shore, indulging in their favorite pastime, conversation. The most passionate discussions focus on the gentleman in number 3. Bullfighting is more than a sport, it is a way of life. Clad in his splendid suit of lights, the matador combines the attributes of sports hero, matinee idol, and great artist. To win the highest praise, he must execute his passes with the cape with the flawless precision and grace of a ballet dancer. The great artist Goya joined a bullfighting troupe for a while, and later captured the excitement and pageantry of bullfighting in his paintings. Goya also helped build the success of one of Spain's oldest industries, illustrated by our 4th picture. Spanish tapestries, with their beautiful colors and intricate designs, have been world famous since the 18th century. When Goya was a struggling young artist, he was hired to create designs from which beautiful Spanish tapestries like this were woven. But art in Spain, as we see in our next picture, is not confined to tapestries and museums. The little village of La Gartera in Castile is famous for its splendid costumes, layers of gorgeous skirts that spin out like whirling butterfly wings when their owners perform lively regional dances. But dancing and fancy costumes are for special occasions only, for these girls are peasants who spend most of their time wresting a hard living from the fields. In number 6, we see another side of Spain, reserved for the few who can afford it. This sweeping stretch of beach is on the northern coast of Spain at San Sebastian. Fronting on the Bay of Biscay, San Sebastian is both the summer capital of the country and an elegant resort that rivals the Riviera. People with a yen for sightseeing can turn the clock back to the Middle Ages by journeying 100 miles along the coast to the scene of our next picture. Cows still amble through the cobbled streets of Santillana del Mar, much as they have for the last 4 centuries. The whole town, with its whitewashed houses and romantic balconies, is a living monument to the past, and to protect this historic treasure, the government forbids the alteration of a single building or street. Santillana del Mar boasts a 12th century church. In our 8th picture, we come to one that is even older. This is the most famous cathedral in a land of magnificent cathedrals. Inside this towering 11th century church is a silver box containing the remains of St. James the Apostle, patron saint of Spain. On his feast day, July 25th, pilgrims from many lands come to the cathedral square to do honor to his memory. Now, if you will turn the slide card over to number 9, we will come to a different sort of relic from Spain's storied past. In Cervantes' great novel Don Quixote, the hero, befuddled by stories of chivalry and romance, mistook a windmill for a threatening giant and charged its revolving vanes with his lance. This fictional scene took place on the arid plain of La Mancha, south of Madrid, the very spot we see here, and perhaps the very windmill that inspired a great writer some 400 years ago. In picture 10, we might almost think we were back in the Middle Ages. Burgos was the hometown of the Cid, the almost legendary Spanish hero of the 11th century wars with the Moors. It was here that Ferdinand and Isabella received Columbus after he returned from his second visit to the New World, and this huge arch was built to honor Emperor Charles V. But picture 11 carries us back even further in Spain's long and glorious history. 2,000 years ago, Roman legions conquered the stubborn mountain people of the Spanish peninsula, but Spain benefited from the comforts of Roman civilization. An example is this marvelous aqueduct, which once carried water into Segovia. This time-weathered aqueduct still stands as a memento of the vanished glory that was Rome. In number 12, we see the romantic symbol of another age. The Alcázar, one of the most famous castles in the world, looming high over the ancient city of Segovia like a stone eagle's nest, this fortress palace was once the home of Queen Isabella of Castile. Picture 13 takes us to a city whose massive walls were built over 900 years ago to ward off Moorish raids. Avila is also famous as the birthplace of Santa Teresa, the great saint and mystic who founded more than 30 Carmelite convents. Now in picture 14, we see what could almost be a continuation of the walls of Avila. Actually, we have left the stern and arid plains of Castile for the hills and vineyards of picturesque Catalonia. This is a charming fishing village on the Costa Brava, the winding, rugged coastline of Catalonia. The Costa Brava runs 90 miles from the French border to the famous port city shown in our next view. Beautiful and thriving Barcelona has been a center of commerce for 2,000 years. That ship in the center is a replica of Columbus's flagship, the Santa Maria. The people of Barcelona and Catalonia as a whole are famous for their bold and unconventional point of view, as we see in picture 16. This striking church was designed in the late 19th century by Antonio Gaudí. He left the imprint of his offbeat personality in other strangely distorted buildings scattered around the city. This penchant for transforming reality has been carried into modern times by such world-renowned Catalan artists as Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali. In our 17th picture, we are 25 miles from Barcelona, watching a black-robed monk pace along an ancient monastery path. Above him loom the grotesque peaks of Montserrat, about which many legends have arisen. In the 9th century, some shepherds found a statue of the Virgin on the mountainside, a statue which St. Luke is supposed to have carved and St. Peter to have brought to Spain. Since the statue was too heavy to move, a church and later a Benedictine monastery were built around it. And now, in number 18, we have taken a sailboat to a romantic island cove 100 miles off the coast of Catalonia. The island is Majorca, jewel of the Mediterranean and vacationer's paradise. You can skin dive in warm, sparkling, clear waters, explore the fascinating underwater dragon caves, relax on sunny beaches, or stroll through flowering orchards that bathe you in the perfume of orange, apricot, and fig trees. No wonder that Majorca is, as demonstrated by our next picture, a land where music reigns. Dressed in their dignified regional costumes, these islanders perform a slow and stately brand of folk music well suited to the languorous tempo of this sun-drenched island. Chopin wrote some of his greatest preludes and nocturnes while wintering here on Majorca. A yearly music festival now attracts thousands of pilgrims who come to pay homage to a great composer and the beautiful island that inspired him. And now in picture 20, we attend another kind of festival. This flamboyant creation is a falla, a street corner decoration for Valencia's fiesta in honor of St. Joseph. At the climax of 3 days of merrymaking, fireworks explode and the decorations are given up to roaring flames. From the excitement of fiesta, we move in number 21 to a drowsy little coastal village.